Let's have a deep conversation, all right? So originally, I did plan to make a video on some of the positive things we had going on within the community. And there still are positive things to talk about. Spargo will be making his grand return at Beyond the Summit. I think we're all hyped to see what he's gonna do. Absolute monster. My guy Aaron over here, he just won PAX West over Light and Cola. Who saw that coming? Nobody except for him, looking real good with that trophy too. But there is something else that no one saw coming. Most notably, well, I don't want to say most notably, but myself included, I should say, was the demise of the Luigi himself, Elegant. A couple days ago, this girl Shannon, I know Shannon, she's a nice girl, very nice girl, and brave as hell, I'll tell you what, for making this twit longer regarding Elegant. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and open it up and read the whole thing. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a gist. Basically, it details an encounter that they had at a tournament collision where, you know, some drinks were had and, you know, some relations were also exchanged. And there's a bit of regret on both sides. And, you know, there's always some nuance there. You already know if you go out to the bar and you've been drinking and stuff like that, things do tend to happen. But it was the follow-up to it that also caught a lot of people's eye, was the fact that the man seemed to be, you know, she, you know, spoke to him at Super Smash Con, and the man, you know, was all handsy and aggressive, you know, and that's not really something you want to do when you haven't seen somebody or talked to somebody, you know, since, you know, said encounter happened. And, you know, basically made her super uncomfortable to the point where she had to call for a friend to help get him off of her. Also, in the TwitLonger does detail, you know, he was trying to keep, you know, reiterating the point, like, yeah, I got my own hotel, you know, stuff like that. I'm like, listen, I went to Super Smash Con too. Those hotels ain't that nice. You ain't bragging about much. But that's besides the point, okay? The point here was that, you know, it really kind of detailed his drunken behavior, you know, which a lot of people have since come out to say, like, yeah, this is kind of a problem. So this was the original TwitLonger. But here's the thing with TwitLongers. It usually tends to spawn others to be brave and come out if it is a pattern. We saw Sailor Magatron come out and had a story to tell there. You can, of course, visit her page and read the TwitLonger. It's all up there. The TwitLongers are all up there. You can check them out as you will. But again, you know, it's just going into a bit of a pattern of behavior that involves Elegant when he's drunk. And he's, like, apparently very aggressive, very, like, you know, makes people very uncomfortable and just does completely inappropriate things. None so more inappropriate than what could be found in the third TwitLonger. That is from K-Jet here, and I'm not going to give out K's, you know, government name. She's actually really cool. I spoke to her a couple times on IG. Very nice girl. Certainly did not deserve what happened to her in this TwitLonger. So TLDR, because I know a lot of you might not, you know, want to read all this or have the stomach for stuff like that, and that's perfectly okay. But basically, it says right here, a year ago, Elegant came to San Antonio, Texas. And what happened was, you know, they had been talking online, they were friends, and they just wanted to hang out. That's the gist of what I understood. You know, of course, Elegant, being Elegant, created some awkward situations. She details at one time where she says, I drove him everywhere and we paid for our own meals. We competed in 2 Smash tournaments and I took him to the main event where he met my friends outside of the Smash scene. Needless to say, Smashers and athletes can be an odd combination, so they weren't getting along. Elegant told my best friend's boyfriend that, and I quote, he hates this shit country. Her boyfriend was in the US Army, so that ended horribly. So obviously, needless to say, you know, I guess you could say that was a little bit of a turning point here. Now, the bulk of this here will go on to detail how she had some things she had to take care of one of the days. So she left him in the hands of some, you know, some Smash homies over in the Texas area. And apparently it was all good until they contacted her that he had got belligerently drunk and he couldn't stay where he was staying. So she goes, you know, she picks him up. Very nice of her to do all this, by the way. Goes and picks him up, takes her back to her parents' house. And then we come to, and, you know, lays him on the couch like, hey, you know, you sleep it off. You know what I'm saying? Now, a little bit of a potential trigger warning here before I get into this next part. I'll give you a second if you want to X out the video. What happens next is disturbing, to say the least. And it's generated a lot of memes as well. I don't necessarily think it's appropriate, but I understand, like, at this point, it's a little bit of like a kind of a, they're saying it's a bit of a clown fiesta dog pile on him, which I don't think is necessarily what people need to do. but it's, you know, it's the internet. People are going to do it regardless. But needless to say, what happened here is at some point he found his way into her room, ended up, you know, within her space, her bed, and then, you know, she was basically woken up by him proceeding to pee all over the bed and her leg, in which case she jumped up, punched him in the face, but he was so drunk he didn't even realize what was going on. And it would be hours until he would sober up and get it together. And apparently, like, she ended up driving him back. You know, she's pissed off at this point. You know, he was crying, you know, the whole way. But yeah, it's pretty, like, you can read the whole thing in detail. It's pretty insane, to say the least. So, you know, that's why you might have saw a couple people calling him Mr. Peabody or something like that. That's probably what that's in reference to. So that was an insane TwitLonger, right? And then his ex-girlfriend, Lauren, another chick who I know and I'm familiar with, another very, like, these are such nice and wholesome girls. It's crazy that this kind of stuff has happened to them, but nonetheless, that is absolutely the case that's been taking place. So she made a TwitLonger too, and keep in mind, like, this was a big freaking deal, because I remember, like, years ago I saw them together all the time. I mean, it says it right here. For those of you who don't know me, Matt and I dated from January 2018 until early April of 2020. And we were involved on and off until as recently or as early as 2022. That's a long time to be having have a relationship with somebody. So clearly she had a lot of experiences, and man, like, she just details everything that she went to and experienced in this relationship. Now, some people will tell you, oh, well, you know, this is something that didn't need to be tweeted and you could have, you know, continued to handle this. I thought that all of the things that were tweeted were actually necessary because it shows a pattern of behavior, right? It shows a pattern of behavior. So hear me out on this, right? The main source of everything that Elegant is dealing with right now is because he can't control his freaking alcohol. Like, the guy can't control his alcohol. And in situations like this, I don't necessarily think a dog pile is necessary, but confrontation is, if you actually want to see somebody kind of do better in situations. Now, we're all, like, if you're over 21, if you're 21, you're more than welcome to drink. That's your right. Period. Point blank, period. But if you can't control it and you can't do it within reason, you gotta admit, you need some freaking help, dude. Like, I think what really was spawned out of this was the fact of, like, dude, like, your behavior when you're drunk is insane. Now, somebody made a tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, somebody made a tweet where they were saying that they saw him at, like, the last Port Priority, and they had encountered, like, some players and commentators they walked past while they were trying to get him together, and they didn't want to name any names of those players. I was one of those commentators. I'll tell you right now, I don't mess with sloppy drunk people. I don't know this guy like that, and it's none of my business. I kept walking to my room because I had some other stuff to handle. Point blank, period. I got no problem telling you that. But, you know, and I've seen this guy drunk at, you know, the last Genesis. He was, like, on the sidewalk, just kind of, like, sloshed and passed out, wearing those damn gloves. I don't know why this guy's wearing gloves. That's besides the point. And I was just like, man, this guy can't handle his liquor. Little did I know it went far beyond what I think any of us thought. You know, and it's really sad. And, you know, there's some stories too, you know, besides the TwitLongers, which you can check out right here. This guy, aka Velta, you know, Nico was saying something about, you know, him on the, not my place to say anything past the service level because I'm not personally involved, so I don't want to name anyone other than himself or where it happened. I'm just going to say P is definitely not the grossest thing Elegant has ever gotten over someone else's wall. This guy proceeded to say, whatever, it was years ago. Elegant got pissed drunk and shat all over a restroom, and I have aptly dubbed him the OCM pooper for many years. Wasn't a part of the cleanup crew as I was upstairs gaming with a friend, but F that guy. Yickety yikes. My boy Puppe, incredibly young, talented individual. No idea how none of these situations were wake-up calls for Elegant. Bro money matched me for 3 hours straight and didn't take a single set while drunk. Damn, bro, $2,700 he caked up off of Elegant's drunk ass during these money matches. This is insane. And this is the problem that Elegant is facing right now. Dude, I made this video primarily because, one, people kept asking me, like, oh, what are your thoughts about it? And two, I didn't feel like, because I couldn't convey all my thoughts in just a tweet, because I wanted to actually sit down, read these things, read all like the replies and stuff like that. Some of your replies, by the way, some of you guys are assholes. Okay, when people say women have it tough, they got it tough, and I'm not talking about that propaganda they're putting out on She-Hulk. I'm talking about real life issues. So shout out to all my ladies who are strong out there holding it together. For sure. But I mean, dang man, like I think the best thing for Elegant to do, and he hasn't said it. He hasn't said a thing. He hasn't said a word, as you can see here. He replied to the original Shannon TwitLonger, but that, like I said, as we see with many TwitLongers, just kind of snowballs if there's more to the story, more things to tell, and that certainly did come up. So, a lot of brave instances here, but yeah, he's gonna go on radio silent, hasn't tweeted since September 5th, and I don't think he will, or maybe he will in like a statement of like, an apology for everybody involved. But at the end of the day, man, if you're a friend of this guy and you actually care about him, I would say maybe don't turn your back on him. Like maybe just help him turn a new leaf. Like help him realize that this kind of behavior is problematic, it's disturbing, it makes people uncomfortable. At the end of the day, yeah, alcohol is awesome if you want to have a good time, if you know how to control it and you can do it within reason. Some people just choose not to drink, and that's perfectly fine, and I respect that as well. But yeah, man, you got to do something about this, because this ain't cool. It's a shame too, because the guy's a very talented smasher, but alcohol is bringing to this, and like I said, these TwitLongers will fill you in on everything. I encourage you, if you're actually interested in being informed, this video's a little bit of a TLDR, but certainly it is not even cracking the surface of everything that these ladies have put out there. If you're interested in getting informed, I do encourage you to go check them out and read them yourself, because outside of like I guess like, I don't know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. High personality this guy seems to have after he drinks, it seems like he wasn't okay enough guy, but man, some of this is a real shitty situation. That's not a joke, no pun intended. I'm being so. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this situation. It's crazy that this just kind of came out of nowhere for sure. But me personally, I hope the guy gets the help he needs. Whether it be therapy, AA, whatever it is. I mean, you're still super young, dude. Like, don't continue to throw your life away and flush it down the drain. I don't have any personal connection with Elegant, but that would be my advice, and that's my 2 cents on the situation. So I hope you guys also follow that too, man. Drink responsibly, or just don't drink at all if you don't think you can. So you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.